From Relay, this is Connected, episode 597. It's almost 600, folks. It's going to be a big one. I am your keynote chairman, Federico Vitici. Today's show is brought to you by our sponsors, Sentry and Squarespace. And along with our sponsors, I also want to introduce my esteemed colleague, annual chairman, Stephen Hackett. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Federico.
Hi.
Hi.
How's the chair of the chairman?
It's good.
Feel comfortable?
We had some feedback about nations run by two people. We can't get into that today, but
Interesting.
We are a good example of it, I think.
Okay.
And of course, leaders need followers, and so we're also joined by Myke.
Is that like when there's like a president and then a prime minister or whatever? Like some countries have that, right? Like they have both.
A lot of the examples we got were worse than that.
Oh.
But it's fine.
I mean, you can have we have like a king and a prime minister. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
I actually quite like it. It's nice.
We have the follow-up to end all follow-up today.
So this is the last follow-up? Is that what you're saying?
No, but it is.
Sorry.
It is incredible. So we need to set the scene. I got a box in the mail yesterday that I opened, and I was very confused by from our friend Matt Van Ormer, who is a moderator in the Discord. Matt's awesome.
Dr. Van Ormer.
Dr. Matt Van Ormer, which is going to come up in a second. But first, we're going to play a clip from 2023 to set the stage. If you want to send me a nice letter, though, it's P.O. Box 241714, Memphis, Tennessee 38124.
A nice letter or an ice letter? Because we could also try to send you an ice letter.
Like one of those swan sculpture things?
It's not a very big P.O. box. You're like shoving it in there. So back then, Federico thought I said ice letter. We made a joke.
Yeah.
At the time, someone sent me a lovely 3D printed swan that looked like an ice sculpture. But this box, okay, it shows up. It has labels on the outside of it, including medical purpose and dry ice.
Nice.
Terrifying labels.
Pretty scary.
Pretty scary. I crack it open, and what is inside is the chapter art right now. And if you're listening live, I just put it in the Discord. It is a Macintosh made of ice. An ice Mac. And I was very confused by this, obviously, right?
Were you excited by it, though?
Very excited, but also I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah.
I will say I've never opened a box more gingerly. Like I cut open the top of it, and then there's a box inside the box, and I open it, and it's got dry ice in it. So it's like fog is rolling out of the box. And inside
this must have been pretty scary, man.
It was pretty frightening.
So explain this to me. Is it cold to the touch?
Very cold.
You can't touch it though, right?
Not supposed
to touch it. Yeah.
Is it melting?
No.
How?
The dry ice is inside a styrofoam thing inside the box. And nestled in the center of the dry ice, and yet another package is this frozen regular ice Macintosh that Matt made me.
Now, can I ask, and just give me an honest answer. Did you understand who this was from before you started the opening process? Did it have Matt's name on it?
The day before, all he sent me was a FedEx link.
Okay, because
I knew it was from him.
I'm pleased he did that, because I think we've spoken about anthrax on this show before.
Yes.
Like, if I opened the package and fog started pouring out of it, I would leave. Like, I wouldn't stick around, you know? So I'm happy that Dr. Van Ormer did say to you that this was coming, you know?
Yeah, otherwise I would have think that I was being murdered. But I was not being murdered. But obviously I was like, what is happening? And so Matt linked me to something he wrote in Discord in 2023 when the ice letter thing happened. Yeah. He said, again, this is over 3 years ago, Stephen, you are aware that A, I have access to dry ice, B, have a federal certification to ship things with dry ice, which I didn't know you needed, a penchant for japes, and that my membership is challenging to revoke. This is the longest game I think that's ever been played with us on the show. And
Do we know why it took
I love it.
Matt close to 3 years to do this?
I think
Did
he was
Matt get the certification just to pull this?
no, Matt works in medical research, and I think 3 years ago he was still getting his PhD, and so and then they had a kid. Like I think he was just busy.
Has Matt misappropriated dry ice meant for medicine?
I do wonder about that.
Was this ice supposed to save someone's life?
Maybe.
Was there an organ inside? Be careful.
I don't know, even a tiny bit of kidney. Steven, have you seen anything in the box?
Did you empty the box entirely? Did it have like a please forward to this location or anything like that?
Was it pulsing when you opened it up?
So yeah, this is incredible. He said it was very challenging. He made a mold and then figured out how to do clear ice.
You'd have to, right? Unless he's like chiseling it. I don't think you can do that.
Yeah. It's
well, bravo, Dr. Van Orma.
Hey, well
I don't know why you did this, but I really respect you for doing it.
It's very good.
And I will never give you my home address.
Yeah, no, that was a mistake.
Matt, I feel like my knee has been acting up lately. Any chance you can ship me something?
A new knee? What do you want? Like, what's he going to ship you?
I don't know. It depends what he has in the transplant.
What you got?
What
you got? What are you certified for?
Yeah.
You want to get one of those exoskeletons that the influencers will seem to be posting about?
What?
You seen this?
What?
No.
You're not on the level of tech YouTube and Instagram that I'm on.
Everyone's
got this like exoskeleton thing now.
No, I the algorithm has not served me that yet. I'm sure it'll come up because they're listening on Zoom. So
yeah,
I found a short from friend of the show, Austin Evans. I will put it in the show notes and I will send it to you both. It's called the Hypershell Exoskeleton. This is what you need, Federico. Maybe Matt can get you a prescription for one. I don't know.
Maybe. I'm putting in the show notes from the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 49, Subtitle B, Chapter 1, Subchapter C, Part 173, Subpart E, 173.217, which is what you need to do to ship something with solid dry ice.
Do you think Matt followed these rules?
I mean, I'm looking through this and like these labels were what was on the box.
Wow.
It was, I wonder how much he paid to ship it. Because it was overnight from the Midwest. Could have.
I mean, it would have to be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if not overnight shipping works in this scenario.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Matt.
Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. All time. This is an all timer.
Mm-hmm. Now we have regular follow up.
Speaking of an all timer, let's go in the exact opposite and read some poems.
I mean, you call this regular.
Yes.
That's brave.
Poetic follow up.
Yeah.
Darren wrote in. So I'd asked for some poetry. Darren wrote in, Stephen keeps asking for some poetry feedback. Let the games begin. Little finder guy found her way onto show art and into our hearts.
So these are haikus.
They are.
Which is why they don't rhyme.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then Anonymous wrote in with 3.
Oh my word.
I use iCloud Drive. You guys worry way too much. What are you scared of?
Good question.
Pretty good. My sky blue MacBook, it does not hold my files. I don't need local. That last line could use some polishing, I think.
Yeah.
And then thirdly, join the CIA.
What?
It would be so cool to do. They need Apple nerds.
We took a turn that I'm uncomfortable with. I'm not really sure why we're here.
There's a government recruiting program.
Maybe.
Yeah. Why are we? Okay. Why are we in the CIA? Why is the CIA in the show now? Why has that happened?
I think this must be a reference to something we mentioned, but I don't remember it.
Huh.
And we also had some anonymous feedback about Backblaze. We spoke on a previous pro show about our file storage, both locally and in the cloud, and what we're doing to back it up, that sort of thing. So Anonymous wrote, I was dismayed to recently learn that Backblaze quietly released an update that now excludes cloud storage from backups as of version 9.2.2.878. There's a link in the show notes. reading from that document. Recent macOS versions can mount cloud storage, for example, Google Drive, OneDrive, and Dropbox, in local paths, causing the backup client to mistakenly back them up. These cloud-mounted folders are now detected and excluded to avoid performance issues, excessive data usage, and restore complications.
This is a problem. This ruined my day.
Okay.
So for non-pro show listeners,
what are you doing? Join.
Yeah, ridiculous. Honestly, ridiculous behavior. But anyway, I store all my files in Dropbox and felt happy about the fact that I was backing up my Dropbox to Backblaze. I logged into my Backblaze account today, and all of my Dropbox files are not in my Backblaze backup anymore.
Yeah.
So I have a problem, and I don't know what to do about it. And Zoe's asking a good question. Why do you need to back up cloud storage with Backblaze? The reason is I do not have all of my Dropbox files stored locally on my computer because my Dropbox account is too large.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel comfortable about only having them on Dropbox. And so I liked the idea of also having them in Backblaze as well, because I would download them at some point and then they would get backed up to Backblaze. So now I figure what I have to do is I have to have something that I can download my entire Dropbox. I don't even know what to do. I don't know. Every time I start thinking out loud what I'm going to do about this, I then realize it's not going to work.
I can solve this
I'm
for
not
you.
going to get what I want. Okay, go on then.
Go to apple.com.
Yep.
Buy a Mac Studio with an 8 terabyte drive.
I don't need a Mac Studio, but carry on.
Well, what else has an 8 terabyte drive? You can't get that in a Mac Mini.
Yes,
Can
you
you?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay. Get a Mac Mini, M4 Pro.
I already priced this up today, and this is one of the things I backed away from.
Oh, this is an expensive computer.
Yes, yeah. With say I went with 4 terabytes, it's $2,600, or 8 terabytes is $3,800. It is more expensive than the computer that I use right now.
Yeah. Well, it's a server, so you can, and obviously you need 10 gig Ethernet to make it fast. So do that, sign Dropbox into that machine, and have it all locally, and then back them up with Time Machine. Assuming Time Machine does this, did Time Machine exclude cloud backups?
No, I don't think so. I think Backblaze is making a policy decision here because they don't want to take like my Dropbox data because it's a lot of data.
Yes.
And I'm very annoyed about this, by the way. Like, I'm very, very, very frustrated about this because I feel like this breaks the promise between me and Backblaze because they have removed things from my backup without ever telling me about it.
It's not good.
It's not good. I'm really very frustrated about this as a long-time Backblaze customer, to the point that I'm not willing to recommend them to people anymore. Because I find it to be really rough. Like, I had all this stuff in my Backblaze account, right? It was all in there, and it's just not there anymore. It's like, I understand if you don't want to do this, but like, I feel like you need to tell me, and they didn't, right?
Was
like,
it there?
Putting it in the release notes of your client is not telling me about this.
Was it there though? Because if you're not syncing them locally, like, I don't think Backblaze.
Some of it is, though. Some of it is.
Okay, maybe it was backing
everything,
that up, but it wasn't going out and like fetching things off the Dropbox server to back them up.
I have like a terabyte of stuff locally that's from my Dropbox, and it was like on my Mac Mini, and that was all being backed up, and those are the important files, right? That was all being backed up because I used to be able to go into my Backblaze account on my phone and grab a file or whatever, right? But it's not, none of it's there anymore.
I mean, you can also just do that with the Dropbox app. I mean, I agree with you. It doesn't solve the problem of the data only being in one place.
Yeah.
But you would have access to it other ways.
Yes, but anyway.
It is a bummer.
Maybe they didn't. I don't know, but this is how it appears to be to me. But anyway, I just don't know what to do now. Like, because I now just have data that only exists in one place, and maybe that's just gonna have to be how I live my life.
Yeah, or get a NAS.
Yeah, or that.
I mean, does this stuff need to be on Dropbox? Like realistically?
I mean, no, but then where am I going to put it? I like having access to my files on every computer.
Yeah.
Like, that's just nice, you know?
It is nice. Yeah. Okay. And then someone wrote us in to tell us that MDMA is a real thing.
Right. Okay. So you've done it wrong again. You said the wrong
Yep.
thing again.
MDA.
MDA.
And I
Right.
said
So
MDMA.
MDMA is the drug. You said MDA. And like, okay, there is a drug called MDA, but it wasn't what you meant. Proven by the fact that you said it wrong again.
But there is a
But now in the
Wikipedia
other
article.
direction.
This Wikipedia article.
Yeah.
Okay, there's also a Wikipedia article for MDMA.
Because
I don't know why
that's
we're
the
talking
drug
about
you're
this.
talking about. Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never done drugs.
Okay, but like this is one of these scenarios where it's like, yes, this follow-up is correct. It's not what Stephen was saying, though.
And no,
You know?
justice for Stephen.
Yeah, justice for Stephen. Speaking of justice, Little Finder Guy's back.
We don't have to gender them. Just Lil Finder.
You
No,
did this.
Basic Apple guy did it, who also
Mm.
gendered themselves in their name, I
All right,
guess.
hang on a minute. Let me go to
Well, he's a guy.
512pixels.net.
So
Mm.
'Cause for some
But I
reason I'm being
changed
called
because
out
I
now.
grew, you know?
Okay, that's really good. But I'm going to your website and I'm just scrolling through posts, so you can talk about what is happening here.
This is a good
And
website.
I'm just gonna go to your website, so you can talk about what these. Oh, you a Lil Finder. But Lil Finder just Lil Findy. If we're gonna get rid of Guy, we need to change it. Like Lil
Yeah.
Finder is not good.
mm.
Go on
Yeah.
Lil Findy. But I see here you go more on Lil Finder Guy. So I found it on your website.
Okay,
so-
well that's referencing, Basic Apple person.
Okay. Well, they call themselves Basic Apple Guys, so you don't need to change that, right? Like
yeah.
you don't have to just wipe it out everywhere.
I'm
It's
taking
fine.
it out of that headline. Also, I know their real name. It's weird. Okay,
Okay, that's good for you.
Apple is back with new short videos, not just on TikTok. They're also on their YouTube channel about the MacBook Neo, and Lil Finder is there teaching things, sometimes playing music. At one point, laying down,
Well, so
face
this is the
down.
question that I have, right? So in these videos, they're very good videos, and they're kind of just showing off different things that macOS can do,
Yeah.
which is just like it's like really nice and they're really well presented. There is a voiceover, and Lil Findy is also there. Now, is Lil Findy doing the voiceover, or are they just a character? In this is what I want to understand here now. You know,
Yeah, that's a question that keeps me up at night.
like who?
Yeah.
These videos, by the way, are amazing. The one of them about the ring light is fantastic because you see Lil Findy making a FaceTime call, which
Mhm.
is just excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's lots of questions about this. It was underscore on Mastodon was like, what if people who go to WWDC get one of these, like in the thank you bag?
Mhm.
And let me just put this in the world. I don't expect a WWDC press invite, although I would like one. I'm going to be there though. And I would love not to leave Cupertino without one of these. And so if you work for Apple or you're at WWDC and you don't want yours, just find me. Finder me.
Do you remember that time when underscore gave me the WWDC Levi's jacket? That was
Yeah.
cool.
I was very angry.
Maybe underscore would just give you your own little findy if you can't get one.
Maybe.
I mean, is this enough to apply for a WWDC pass? Like on the off chance you might get a little vinyl figure or
The
whatever?
developer one? Yeah, maybe. I actually
this
put
is
my name in
enough.
as a developer for the first time.
But you legitimately count now.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see,
You know.
We'll WWDC soon.
Blah.
This episode of the show is brought to you by Sentry. I'm not a developer, but I work with developers, and I know how big of a difference smooth data collection, it makes all the difference, right? You got a problem in your app on the web or mobile or someplace else, and if your logs and your session data, all these things are scattered across multiple tools, it slows down the ability to fix something. And Sentry solves that. We use it at Relay for our CMS and our ad inventory system that we built. And it means that our freelance developer can get in, see what the issue is, and get working on a fix. It's awesome. So that's where Sentry is. That's what it does. SENTRY, Sentry. They've got logs, but they make them usable because they're trace connected and structured. So you can follow all the request flow and filter by whatever matters. And because Sentry services the context right where you're debugging, The trace, relevant logs, errors, and even session replay all land on one timeline. So you're not like looking for a timestamp and then tool hopping to something else and trying to line it up. It's all there. Front end, mobile, back end, whatever you're debugging, Sentry gives you the context you need so you can fix the problem and move on. More than 4.5 million developers are using it, including teams at Anthropic and Disney Plus, and like I said, here at Relay as well. So try it for free. Go to Sentry.io, Sentry, Sentry.io, and tell them that we sent you. They have a free dev plan, and listeners of Connected can use the code Connected26 to get $100 in Sentry credits. That's Sentry.io and the code Connected26 for $100 in credit. My thanks to Sentry for the support of the show and Relay. Federico, I have bad news for you.
Okay.
The Mac Pro is dead.
Told you I would do it when I was in charge.
Yeah, last week I think you said, right? If you were at Apple, you would kill the Mac Pro. And then
I think
they
it was
did
a few hours before it happened.
Yeah, it was the same day because it was Thursday. Yeah. Absolutely wild. Yeah, they made a statement to 9to5 Mac. It's gone. It's not coming back. And David on Mastodon wants to know if Federico manifested its death.
No, I mean, it was, some things are in the air, you know? It was in the air. I mean, it's, if you ask me, it was kind of ridiculous that it was still there. And I mean, put that thing out of its misery, you know?
Yeah, for
It was
real.
about time. Yeah.
For real. Myke and I each, at different times, owned Mac Pros.
Yeah.
You had the worst one.
Yeah. So I came to realize, looking at today's show notes, like I feel like this was almost like a bit of therapy for me, because I feel like in recent years I've been very much in the camp of kill the Mac Pro. You know, like I've been very against it and saying that it shouldn't exist. And now I realize I think the reason I feel this way is because we spent a lot of money on a Mac Pro for me, and it was an absolute piece of trash. I had the 2013 trash can Mac Pro, which we bought using some of the first money we made at Relay, which I was very happy to have that computer. But the problem was, very often I'd be recording a podcast, and I think it was the GPU was the problem, but we could never work it out at the time. But I think it came out later what the big issue was with that machine. It would just completely die, but not in a way where the computer would restart. It would just 100% lock up. I could still hear people talking. Yes, and my recordings would fail. Because I had to reboot the machine. And so this is when I actually switched from recording in MP3 to recording in WAV, because at least it wouldn't corrupt the file. We didn't know this for a long time. So I had to end up, for a while, with Upgrade, it seemed to happen a lot, where I had to kind of like pull audio backups out of Wirecast. And I had to like take Jason's file, and I had to do this trick with an app called Sound Studio to invert Jason's audio file, replace it over the top of the mixed track of the both of us, so I could get an isolated version of my audio. It was like one of the worst times of my life was dealing with this computer. And so I think this machine, which I can't believe I sold to someone and they wanted it. Like they were like I think like a visual effects house. And so, it ended up going okay in the end. And I replaced it with an iMac Pro, which is like you go from the worst to the best, And I was very happy with that iMac Pro. But man, that trash can Mac Pro, just terrible. Beautiful computer. Terrible to use.
I've got one now. As Jason pointed out, maybe it was just, I forget where it was. It was on MacBreak. That you can get a trash can now for basically nothing on eBay. So if you want one, like for just to have, now's the time. Maybe you could get one, Myke, and we like destroy it somehow.
I don't want to do that. They're still really nice. You got one. The ATP boys gave you one, right?
They did. WWDC one year, I produced their live show, and they gave me one as a gift on stage. And I was all the way, it was at the Hammer. I was all the way upstairs in the sound booth, and they like, hey, come down here. And I've never been more aware of time than how long it took me to get to the stage. But yes, I have it here. It's on the bookcase next to my desk. I never used one though. I used it for our live show that year on stage. We bought a display for it that we'll never mention again. But
that display that we left underneath the thing in the hotel room.
It's fine. I never used it. Like I didn't have one at the time. But I did own a 2019. I was at WBC when it was announced. Sparks and I had the product manager for it on Mac Power Users, which was really cool. So I really felt like connected to that machine, and I bought one when they came out at the very end of 19. I think mine showed up actually in early 20. And I used it for several years, and I would have used it longer, but sort of the story of the 19 Mac Pro is that it shipped, and then Apple Silicon was announced literally 7 months later and shipped 9 months later. And the value of that thing was plummeting. And I was like, well, I own this as a business. Like I can't just watch all this money evaporate. So sold it off, but it was fantastic. It was expensive, of course, and overkill, of course, but it was so solid. And I loved having all the storage inside of it and being able to expand it. It was a very fun thing to own, but even then, right, the writing was on the wall. I think that the Mac in general was becoming less and less PC-like, in particular because of what Apple Silicon was doing, right? Like, oh, all this is integrated. You're not going to break these things out anymore. But really over the, I guess, 20 years the Mac Pro existed, like all Apple did was whittle down its customer base by making poor product decisions. Like the 2013 Mac Pro got rid of internal expansion and was generally a bad computer. And then the 2019 came out and brought expansion back. But then in 2022, when they put the M2 Ultra in it, expansion was gone again, at least certain types of expansion. And I think the Pro market, for the most part, just got tired of getting jerked around by Apple with the Mac Pro and moved on to other things. And it is a bummer for like the handful of people that rely on those slots for audio capture or big fast storage or whatever it might be. But that market was getting smaller and smaller, and it's no surprise that it's gone. It's no surprise that the Mac Studio is the way forward. But it is it's a weird time because it's really, I mean, the Mac Pro is 20 years old, but it was the successor to all the towers that Apple ever made. But computing is just not there anymore, right? Computing is powerful laptops now, and it's wild. It's gone.
You said you were thinking that maybe the lot of the Pro customers got tired of being jerked around.
Yeah.
I understand that sentiment, but I think that there is a lot of Pro customers that just moved to a machine that was better suited to them. Like, people had the Mac Pro because it was the most powerful computer, so they wanted the most powerful computer. But then, like, laptops became more powerful.
For sure.
And, like, it's realistically a better form factor.
Yeah, it's all these things combined that led to its death, right? Even when the Mac Pro came out in 06, or 07, whenever it was, it was the last machine to go Intel, and it was even then like noticeably faster and more powerful than the MacBook Pro with the Core 2 Duo in it. But over time, notebooks caught up, and in the Apple Silicon era, like most people don't need an Ultra, and if you do, you can get it in a studio. But if you need like the Max or the Pro version of the chip, there's lots of options, and they all basically have the same level of performance. And so, yeah, it got whittled away in like lots of ways. The market aspect of it, the power aspect of it, the cost, right? Notebooks used to be really expensive, and now you can get a very performant notebook for less and less money over time. And all these things are guilty in the Mac Pro's death.
Well, and then better expansion, right? Thunderbolt, I think, made it possible that you didn't need to put cards inside of a computer anymore for a lot of the cases. Now, I know I'm not speaking for everyone, but sure. I think there are a lot of people, including you, and including John Siracusa, who own Mac Pros because they were the biggest and the beefiest and gave them the most options.
Yeah.
And I think that over time, all of that stuff has made its way into different formats, and it just ends up of like, oh, you just want a Mac Pro because you want one. Like, the Mac Studio is more powerful, right? And you can just basically everything that a regular person and even a regular Mac Pro customer would want, Thunderbolt will more than suffice.
For sure. Now,
and you have more options with Thunderbolt than you did with the expansion cards.
You do. It is up to now, like as it was in 13, it is up to these third-party companies to like, okay, if you've built an audio card and you've only made an internal version of it, now we either need to find like a really good Thunderbolt, PCI card expansion dock, and there are some out there, or the whole device is going to move to Thunderbolt. Like the market will have to respond to this, just as they did in 13, or didn't do in 13, and it'll be fascinating to see that. But yeah, those use cases have become more and more niche over the years, and if you're OWC or I don't know, Belkin or Avid, one of these companies, like, are you really going to take the time and like really make a nice Thunderbolt enclosure for people to put cards in? Like, maybe, but the use case for that was already so small. But you're right. Like it used to be like, I'm thinking about like my wife's uncle did like professional audio engineering for decades. And he in his studio had a Mac Pro. I think it was the 2012. It was the last one before the trash can. I remember that because we bought it for him. Like, we spec'd it after the trash can was announced and you could still get your hands on a 2012. And I'm like, okay, no, I want the one with the cards. And he had lots of stuff in there, right? A lot of it was like hardware that he had to have for certain plugins and that sort of thing. But even then in 2012, those needs were getting smaller, and he's now retired and out of that business. But it's just those needs have gotten less over time, and so
because I think the reception and reaction to the announcement of and then the subsequent life of the Trash Can Mac Pro was very negative, right? People were very upset about that computer, and I would say that the death of the Apple Silicon Mac Pro is a joke, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that tells the difference of people's needs over time. Like,
for sure,
that by and large, the sentiment to the Mac Pro now being gone is it's like a curiosity, or it's like we make fun of the person who has one, mostly John Siracusa, right? Like, what's John gonna do? And they had a good conversation about it on ATP, which was nowhere near as long as I thought it was going to be.
I know, yeah.
I was actually quite disappointed.
I wanted more.
Yeah. But I think that is like emblematic of there just isn't that much to say about it anymore. Like, John had already made his decision about what he was going to do because everybody knew this was going to happen, because it's just a computer that doesn't have a place now.
No.
In a way that we all know Apple would or would not make it. Like, it just doesn't exist. People can build their own PCs, and it makes a lot of sense for the way that will work. No one's expecting Apple to produce a product like the heyday of the Mac Pro again, because mostly they don't need to, because the rest of what they can do with Apple Silicon is like more than enough for like 99% of their customers, probably more than that.
Yeah. I mean, it was more than I needed in, 19 and 20. Part of it was I'd always aspired to one, right? Yeah. Not necessarily the trash can, although the trash can a little bit in the beginning.
Trash can was so cool.
It was really
just
cool.
Really annoying.
A bad computer. I'd always aspired to one, and I was in a position where I could do it, and it was a good fit. I mean, it was overkill, but like it worked with what I was doing. And so I was able to do it. And I enjoyed that time. It was incredibly expensive, and I definitely lost money on it, but it was something special for me to have in that time. And I was never interested in the Apple Silicon version. Like, time had just moved past it.
Well, that product just was less interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like, we put in the show notes your like kind of running log that you had for the Mac Pro. Most of the stuff that you did here, you just wouldn't do to that one because it just didn't make any sense.
No,
it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't as expandable, and so it just wasn't as fun anymore.
Yeah. I look forward to buying one, though, in 15 years when they're dirt cheap.
Mm-hmm. You put a question in our document here that you didn't mention. I just wanted to talk about where, like the Trashcan Mac Pro was a product that then resulted in the Mac Roundtable.
Yeah.
Which we first then learned about the iMac Pro and Apple's commitment to making an expandable Mac Pro again.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked the question, was this a mistake? Like having the Mac Roundtable? What is your thinking for that question?
My thinking is at the time it wasn't because there was a lot of pushback, and clearly Apple felt like they needed to do what would become the 19 Mac Pro to meet that feedback. And of course, the iMac Pro was like the alternative future, and the iMac Pro was a great machine. Again, you and I both. Did you have an iMac Pro? You did, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I did.
That's
Jason
I
did. Like
it
was incredible. The iMac Pro was so good. But clearly they felt like there was a need to have something more expandable. I think if there is a mistake in that, I think it's that the Mac Pro didn't come out until 19. Like if they had the Mac Pro ready to go at the roundtable, which was in 17, I think, maybe that would have been different. Yeah, April 2017. Maybe that would have been different. But the hard part is it was released and Apple Silicon was so close to it.
Yeah. It was an apology. Like,
it was.
The 2019 Mac Pro was an apology. So like I don't think it was a mistake, and I don't even think it was a mistake knowing everything we know now. Like the Mac Roundtable was supposed to make us all happy again, and it did that. And and then Apple was like, hey, you know what, guys? We got this now too. And we're like, Apple Silicon, yay! And then we all forget about the Mac Pro, so it's way better.
Yeah. This episode of Connected is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform designed to help you stand out and succeed online. So whether you're starting something new, scaling something that's already up and running, or maybe you already have a website and it just needs redoing. It's old, it's creaky, it's janky. Well, Squarespace is the tool for you. You can claim a domain name, you can showcase your offerings with a professional website, you can grow your brand and get paid all in one place. I've been using Squarespace for years. I love building on it because everything is integrated and you can expand a website over time. Maybe you don't need a store or a gallery on day one, but you know that you'll need it down the road. Well, Squarespace makes all that really easy. You can build your website. They have design tools that are AI enhanced. They have SEO tools so you get people there to see your website. But just because you build something on day one doesn't mean it has to be that way in year one or year two or year three. You can add things to your Squarespace site through their amazing drag and drop editor, and everything just works together. They have this really cool video feature that we're using on the Widgetsmith and Pedometer websites for support videos. This whole video library, really easy to use. We, of course, make them free, but if you're doing a course or you're selling video content, you can do that with Squarespace as well. They have appointment scheduling, email marketing tools, invoicing, online payments. Everything is built in and, again, designed to work together. So head on over to squarespace.com/connected for a free trial. Build what you need, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code CONNECTED to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain name. That's squarespace.com/connected and the code CONNECTED for 10% off your first purchase. My thanks to Squarespace for their ongoing support of the show and all of Relay.
Well, okay. So guys, you know me, I'm a man of my word, right? I say things and I do things. That's my...
that's how I describe it to people. Yeah, Federico
my
says
ethos,
things,
so to speak. I say things and I do those things,
things.
And then I say more things and I do more. I told you I was interested in trying a shorter phone, and I've been using the iPhone 17 Pro for the past week. That's, jumping right into it. Okay.
Okay. So from the Air to the Pro.
From the Air to the Pro, and I have thoughts.
Okay.
So
get ready, gang. It's time for an iPhone 17 Pro review. Here we go.
Well, find you a blogger who's actually spent 6 months with the iPhone Air and now is going to spend 6 months with the iPhone 17 Pro. First, who?
Me.
You're not a blogger.
I have a blog. How dare you?
You have a blog. You're not a blogger.
Yeah.
That's
Whoa. Wow. Okay, carry on with your story.
different. Also, you're a writer occasionally. Myke.
Sure.
Anyway, so first thought, it is more comfortable. It is nicer to have a slightly shorter phone. Like my thumb is pretty happy about that. So being able to swipe for notification and control center is nice. The first shock was obviously the thickness and the weight. That there's no way around it. It kind of sucks whenever I pick it up or I feel it in my pocket. Like when I was dual carrying the iPhone Air and the Z Fold 7, both in my pocket, I could instantly tell without looking in my pocket which one was the iPhone Air, right? Now, occasionally I pull out the wrong phone because this thing is thicker and it's not immediately recognizable to the touch that I'm picking up a thinner phone, right, compared to my Z Fold 7. And it's heavy. So like when I'm reading in bed at night using Readwise Reader or watching some YouTube videos, like my wrist feels it after a while, especially if you're using it one-handed. Like the iPhone Air, how thin it is, how light it is, continues to be just a champion of a device. I have been surprised, not in a great way, by the battery. I was expecting more. And maybe what I was expecting was the iPhone 17 Pro Max, but I was expecting to see a noticeable improvement compared to coming from the iPhone Air. And I didn't see that noticeable improvement. If I really start using my phone in the morning, like I wake up, I have breakfast, and then I start doing things like email, catching up on social media, RSS on my phone, this phone does not last me until late evening. Like I need to top it off at some point. Like I need to put it on my MagSafe charger on the desk. I thought that I could avoid that with the 17 Pro, and that's not the case. Also, I have a theory that these phones on iOS 26 are too power hungry. Like, I find it so strange that an iPhone 17 Pro, which has a bigger battery than an iPhone Air, not as big as a 17 Pro Max, but I find it quite strange that it doesn't last me through the whole day. And I hope that if the rumors are true that Apple is working on, improving the performance of 27, I really hope that we do see a jump in battery life over the course of a single day. I am using the same settings, adaptive power, all of those things. I was expecting a bit more because everybody was saying, "Oh, the iPhone Air, the battery is terrible." It is kind of terrible, and I was expecting to go to the 17 Pro and be like, the battery is great now, and I didn't have that reaction yet. So, and I thought, maybe the first few days it's optimizing, it's indexing things. No, hasn't changed. I still need to charge it up a little bit in the afternoon if I want to not charge it in the evening, which is convenient because I'm on the couch. I don't want to have a battery. I don't want to have a power cable on the couch and all of those things.
Yeah, my phone only stays to 50% on days, like at the end of the day, in days where I know I'm not using it. You know what I mean? Like if I'm using my phone, then I will have to top it up at some point in the day, or I'll get to the end of the day and it's like we're in the red now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was expecting a bit more, but looking at Sylvia as a 17 Pro Max, I think that's the ideal battery for me, I guess. But I don't want to use a phone that big right now.
Yeah, I think if you're right, like if battery is what you care about the most, you always have to just get the biggest phone.
In the end, I cared more about the size right now. So obviously the thing that I love the most is the camera.
Yeah.
And coming from the iPhone Air, the telephoto pictures that I've taken of my dogs in the past 10 days or so, I don't want to say that they make up for the past 6 months, but I've been having so much fun. And I complained about photo quality on iPhones, and I really spent some time researching this. I pulled up my buddy Claude and Perplexity over the past week and be like, hey, help me figure out how can I make iPhone photos as vibrant as the ones that I take on my Samsung by default. Like, I don't believe that I cannot achieve the photo quality that I want on an iPhone. And sure enough, I switched to the new bright photographic style with some tweaks, and I really like it. That's sort of
what you're saying is photographic styles are good. If you,
I'm saying
if
that
you have an LLM to help you understand how to use them.
No, I am saying that I have found the one photographic style that doesn't suck, which is different from being good. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
See,
you're really on one
I also know words in the English language, so I know how to describe things. In addition to saying things and doing things, I know how to describe things.
Okay.
So bright doesn't suck, and with some adjustments, I gotta say I'm looking at the photos from the past week and I like them. And yeah, having the telephoto and the zoom level is intense.
It is.
When
It
you go
really
to
is.
the 8x, like you guys should have told me. You know, I mean, I guess you did tell me. I wasn't ready to listen. But yeah, the 8x thing is wild, and I really like the preview in the viewfinder that you see the preview of the whole picture where you're actually zooming in the upper right corner. Really nicely done. And what else? I've been using this with my MCon controller. Really nice combo. I got it in silver because I'm a boring tech guy, and I feel like it was matching my silver and white Apple accessory aesthetic. And the plan right now is to use this phone instead of the Air for the next 6 months and try and find whatever balance I want to find before the iPhone Fold. And by that time, I will be selling my iPhone Air, I will be selling the 17 Pro, and I will just finally get a folding phone from Apple.
I mean, I've done the same thing, right? I started with the Air and ended up on the Pro. And for all the same reasons, I also have found the battery life surprisingly lacking at times. But yeah, the camera is such a big improvement. And I was even thinking about this in terms of like the regular 17, because that's a spectacular phone. But I would much rather have the telephoto than the wide angle. And so pushes me to the Pro. What about you, Myke? Do you have if you could only have two camera lenses, which one would you ditch, ultra wide or telephoto?
I'll get rid of the ultra wide. Well, the problem is then you can't take photos of things that are super close to you, right?
Yeah, because it uses that for the macro mode,
which is still not as good quality as I would want.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's ever going to be something I'm ever going to get, because I think every time they make the regular camera better, the ultra wide will be behind.
Mm-hmm.
But like for what I tend to choose to use, I would want the telephoto and the regular.
Happy birthday, Apple. Everybody excited?
Okay, can I go first and just say something unpopular?
Please go first.
No, honestly, no. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like, not big on birthdays and anniversaries myself. I especially don't like the looking back. That's just me. We haven't done really anything on Mac stories for Apple F50. I appreciate and respect everyone who did. I just find personally the content too introspective, too sort of like a celebratory and not really useful. Like, and I understand why otherwise other people are really into this. Not really for me. I especially dislike corporate anniversaries. And then again, that's just me. So, but I mean, I am going to read the David Pogue book. So there's that. Like, I do appreciate a book about Apple history, but just doing multiple things to celebrate it, not for me. I did enjoy the episode of Upgrade, though.
Oh, thank you so much.
I enjoy other people doing it. I just don't like doing it myself.
On the opposite side of the spectrum, I've loved this past week. And I still have a bunch of stuff that I want to go through. Like I'm only about a third of the way through all of the Verge articles. The Verge has done such an incredible job, like in a way that I was surprised about, like just how much stuff they've done, including their ranking of the 50 best Apple products, which I think it's done now. Actually, I just looked at it right now. Yeah.
What's number one? The Mac.
The original iPhone.
Oh yes, I agree. Okay.
Yeah. So number 2 is the M1 chip, which is interesting.
Interesting
there's
choice.
some ageism I think going on in that poll.
Number 3 is the original Macintosh.
Oh come on.
Yeah,
the iPhone
but I
has to be
mean,
number
come
one.
on, that's gonna be.
No, the iPhone has to be number one, Steve.
Yeah, the iPhone has to be.
I'm
number
not
one.
arguing with that. I'm just like, you go further down. I don't know. I have some problems with also some of the choices. Like, why is the Intel Mac Mini in there? I don't know.
Tell you what, we should. You know what we should have done?
Done our own.
But we did no. But we don't have time today. What we should have done was a tier list of all the Apple F50 anniversary celebrations across different websites.
Wow.
I would S tier The Verge. I think The Verge have done the best job of anyone.
Yeah, because Jason did a lot of it. I mean, Jason
did a lot of it for sure. So maybe actually it's just Jason.
If anything, I would have S tiered Jason Snell.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to
Always.
do that because I'm part of it. But like, yeah, Jason is S tiered, and The Verge have S tiered because Jason's obviously done a lot of stuff in other places as well, including reviewing David Pode's book for the Wall Street Journal, which is just very funny.
It was wild.
But I've really enjoyed this stuff, and I think I've enjoyed it so much that like we're doing like a whole month of stuff on Upgrade. Like we have other episode things that we want to do, different upgradey things that we want to do over the month. Because I've liked it. I mean, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I was begging the internet to try and have fun this week, and I think people have, and I'm really pleased about that. And I'm also pleased about how Apple have treated it by and large. There's a really, I would say, a somewhat interesting video, and I don't say this because it's Tim Cook at the end of the day, right? On the Wall Street Journal, where they're showing off some prototypes of devices, which is real. Like it's just like fun to see, like. And also just Tim to say like he didn't even know all that stuff existed, which is also funny to me. It's like they've been pretty open as much as they can be, and that they are celebrating it, which is good because I think it's something worth celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them to celebrate their 60th, right, in the same way, and I wouldn't have cared about them celebrating their 40th either. But 50 feels like a good number to celebrate, and I've had a good time with it. And yeah. Federico, thank you for mentioning it. I just want to say I'm so proud of the episode of Upgrade that we put out last week.
It's great.
This week, and I really hope that people check it out because it was something that we really loved putting together.
I've also enjoyed it, probably unsurprisingly. I did find it difficult to like decide on what to do. And I have not. I've enjoyed the writing. I have skipped some of the podcasts because, like, I think because I know this stuff so well, like people just getting things wrong or very blatantly just like retelling stories out of the Pogue book kind of bugs me. But
are you sub-podcasting me right now?
No, not you.
Okay, just checking.
I found it a little tricky to sort of like figure out what to do with it, but I think it's been a fun time.
So you wrote a really nice kind of like, I don't know what you call these kinds of articles where they're split into like 3 things.
Yeah.
Like I figure there's probably a name for this format, right? Where you're like, it's like 3 mini things in one thing.
Mm-hmm. These are not 3 blog posts.
There's 1 blog post. And I just wanted to read something you said. The A18 Pro just beneath the keyboard of the MacBook Neo I'm typing on. So it was just like, so you're writing on the downstairs computer now?
I wrote that on the downstairs computer.
Look, I'm just going to say a thing. You just be honest with me. Are you trying to turn this into a minimal writing environment?
I don't want to talk about that.
Oh my God, he is. Federico, he's doing it. He's trying to make a minimal writing environment. It's like the white whale of bloggers, real bloggers.
It is.
Is minimal writing environments.
It is. No, I wrote it. I've shared this before. I feel like I am the most... Like I do my best writing like in the evenings, which is incompatible with the rest of my life. So I did write this downstairs so I could be downstairs like around as after the kids went to bed. So I did write it on the Neo, but yeah, I was just thinking, I was like, I figured a lot of people are going to do like what The Verge did, right? Like hit the highlights. I thought Jason's thing about how the Apple II was like so important for so long was really good and really insightful. But I just didn't know like where I would fit in with that. And so I decided, and like in all of this, like, yes, I'm glad it was celebrated, but also like, it's okay that things are really complicated right now. And that it can be hard to feel all good or all bad about anything anymore. And so I also wanted to address that, but also like why it's important to me. So that's how that piece kind of came together. I am very happy with how it came out, but it took me a long time to kind of figure out what it was going to be.
I don't know, like, it was really good. I liked it. I was expecting more from the Apple history guy. Like, I thought you were going to do more things, you know?
Yeah, good job, Steven.
He's happy. Federico doesn't want more things to read.
Yeah.
I just wondered, did you not like, you know, like you've got your screenshot libraries and stuff,
Sure.
right? Like you have been known to go way too hard on certain projects. Was it just eluding you this one, or you just didn't want to do anything bigger?
I think it was mostly eluding me, that I just didn't know
what.
Because 50 years is a really long time. I've covered a lot. I mean, I've covered all the highlights of all like the products, right? I mean, I even did Perform a month. And so it felt weird to like retrod product stuff. I did think, I was like, well, I picked like my favorite 50 things. But like, that's going to be a article type that lots of people do. And so I was like, you know, let's just like write how I feel about it. And so that's where I landed.
Okay.
But I'm happy with it.
Happy birthday, Apple. Can't believe Tim Cook is turning 50. Is that how it works? You know?
Well, I think that does it for this week. Happy anniversary to the end of this episode, really. If you think about
Happy anniversary to us, you know?
it. I mean, you did say at the beginning of the show that 600 was coming up and it was going to be a big one, which we have not talked about.
Yeah, because we're going to do new content, not because we're going to do like a clip show of the best moments of 600 episodes of Connected.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Who likes a clip show?
No one.
Okay, thank you.
If you like fresh content, though, like we did this week, like we do every week, you can leave us some feedback about it. Connectedfeedback.com. There's also a link in the show notes. If you really like content that we make here and you want more of it with fewer, actually no ads at all, and also access to a bunch of cool stuff from Relay, join getconnectedpro.co. $7 a month. You get longer ad-free episodes each week, Discord access, some cool wallpapers, members-only podcasts, including one that Myke and I do each month. It's awesome. It's the best deal going, so go check that out. You can also find all of us online. You can find Prince Flexi Federico at macstories.net, where he's the editor-in-chief. You can find Myke across a bunch of shows here at Relay and his so-called blog at theenthusiast.net. Not my words, Federico's words, really.
No, I said it's a blog.
He's not a blogger. That's what you said.
Myke is not a blogger, primarily. He's a writer.
A writer.
A blogger is like, you know, there's the daily grind.
Yeah.
Whereas the enthusiast is more of a, I don't know how to describe it, but you know what I mean. Myke, would you consider yourself a blogger? Myke, do you consider yourself a blogger?
I don't know what you mean. I need you to explain it more.
So I feel like you're not under any obligation to at least have a number of articles out on the Enthusiast every week.
Is Mac Stories?
Well, we try to, right? Especially when you have sponsors, and you gotta keep the machine running. That's what I mean. Like you have a place to write, but you're not, and it's a blog. But do you consider yourself a blogger when you introduce yourself to people? Do you say I'm a blogger?
I mean, who's anything, you know?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm just looking through The Enthusiast. Really, it's kind of like a clip show for Mike's life.
That's not inaccurate.
Yeah. So make that your tagline.
Clip show, you know.
Mm-hmm. I'm the eternal. I'm the eternal. I'm the Attorney General Flexi. Someone did write in saying that I seem uncomfortable with my title. I do. And so
I love it. That makes
maybe-
me really, really happy when every
do
time
that.
he says it, he doesn't like saying it.
At least I'm not Secretary of Deflex right now. That's, you know.
Or Flexi of War.
Flexi-
which I guess another
Secretary
thing
of-
it could be.
Or Flex. Anyways, you can find my writing, because I am a blogger, at 512pixels.net.
And you consider yourself a blogger?
Yes.
Okay.
We've talked about this. My conception of myself is that I'm a writer, that I happen to do other things that pay the bills, because writing certainly doesn't pay the bills. But
Right.
blogger, you know, if I was writing a Twitter bio in 2010, right?
Okay. Well, what's your Mastodon bio? Let me see.
It's probably a joke.
How do you find Mastodon? You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, it's
where
it's
like,
federated. It's really everywhere.
You consider yourself an iPod sock and PowerPC enthusiast, apparently. So
Yes.
you don't even consider yourself a blogger.
But it would be like father, husband, blogger, podcaster, project manager.
Whoa. So you consider
Okay.
yourself a father first?
I'm writing these down. I'm gonna change it everywhere. So what I say?
The
Father,
great thing is you'll change it to this, and like
husband.
that seems funny to you right now, but like people are gonna see that and they're just gonna think you're one of those people, you know? That like that's how they describe themselves, is this like collection of words.
Father, husband, lover. What I say? Blogger,
Lover.
podcaster, project manager.
Project manager, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really, really like making it sexy at the end there, you know?
I know. Hey, look,
Well,
every little kid,
needs
know,
a project.
people are excited about space right now, which they should be, but like kids want to be project managers, not astronauts.
Do we have a few minutes to talk about space?
We can do it after I thank our sponsors,
Okay.
Century and Square Space. Thank you for listening. Till next week, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Cheerio.
Bye, y'all.